But when that incident happened on Saturday morning, it was almost like a perspective putter for everybody. I started thinking to myself, if Christian Eriksen, a man who had a cardiac arrest on the field while the ball was getting thrown to, like, as he was touching the ball, he passed it back, full collapse, full cardiac arrest, right on TV. Then all of a sudden, you have teammates running over, oh shit, full panic. Then these I don't know if they're paramedics, I don't know if they were doctors, I don't know if they were nurses, I'm not exactly sure who they were. They immediately start doing CPR live on the field right in front of everybody. I would assume that there was millions of people watching around the globe, I'd assume, especially in Europe, watching that whole thing take place. We were watching it here in the United States on NBC. Then the people in the stadium, it was a scene that honestly, one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. You're watching this man who is, in your eyes, in my eyes, as somebody who played soccer growing up, he had to be in peak human performance. Yeah. To play soccer. That is a marathon. That is an absolute problem. I mean, that is something that... Is this one on?
Here we go.
That is something that sport is not only predicated upon being smart and having, you know, the wits of understanding the strategy and everything like that of soccer, but you also have to have the conditioning of a marathon runner. You have to train basically every single day all year round. Their seasons are incredibly long, especially for him who plays on Inter Milan. Then you see something like that happen, a scary scene where somehow he ends up in stable condition just like 11 to 12 minutes later when they get him into an ambulance and get him to a hospital. There's a shot of him going into the ambulance where his eyes are alert. And my first thought was like, man, that was like 10 minutes long. It started at like 46 minutes on the clock, which never stopped. By the way, neither did the broadcast, which I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to answer some questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Because as I was watching at home alongside my wife, who actually... I think I had went back to the bedroom to grab something, and she like called. She was like, Pat, and I came out. She was one. So we just sat there for what? That was like 7-8 minutes of just like almost silence. The commentators were trying to put a perspective on it. Then you started seeing his wife was down there, the goalie running back and forth, coach running back and forth, teammates crying. And it was like, at what point do you think you send us back to the studio? Right? That's what I think I was thinking watching at home. But then in this particular case, I mean, I guess hindsight's always 20/20, and we all assume the absolute worst, but the incredible work by the medical professionals. I have no idea how they were able to do that. I am bravo, hell of a job. Amazing work by the responders there that took off and did that. And I guess hindsight, since they did show us all that, I think it gives us a much better perspective and like in admiration of the medical people like that saved that whole thing, because we watched a guy that was dead. And then they say he was gone. Yeah, he was dead. And they brought him back to life. So I guess we got a chance to witness something that potentially happens sometimes in hospitals behind closed doors. But man, if that guy ends up dying in the long run, which is incredibly sad, Christian Eriksen, obviously, that the people that were covering that, we watched somebody's last. I mean, it's just, that was a wild situation. I thought they were going to go to studio a lot quicker than they did. Then UEFA obviously suspending the match and bringing the match back. That's a whole thing now because they end up losing. I mean, it is. And by the way, this guy was like a stud player for them.
Oh, yeah.
This was a guy. I texted Gumpy. I was like, hey, who is this? He's like, hey, he used to play here. Now he plays at Inter. He's a big. I'm like, damn, how the hell does this happen? Happy he's okay. But that was that was a crazy moment in my sports watching life. Did you guys get to see it? I assume?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I can't remember if it was on the like ESPN copy or if maybe it was a tweet I saw from just like the stadium or a different broadcaster, but I'm pretty sure they showed them like hitting him with the paddles too.
They did.
Yeah, they absolutely
did. That
did.
was what brought him back to life, right? Was the paddles.
But when I saw that, I was like, holy shit. Like I was trying to think if we'd ever seen anything like similar to this in like any sporting event, and most of the time, you know, it's just like a guy with like a gruesome injury or something like that. I was trying to think football, but
the cramp, I guess, would be the Tony Romo, which by the way, it has to be very hard to talk over those gruesome injuries. It's always like bone or something like that, like skin, blood, bone. Oh my God, that surgery is going to be crazy. Whenever it's like, oh, hey,
this guy could die.
This is it right here. My dad played in I forget what age I was, over 30 league or over 40 league or something like that. And I did not go to the game. I usually went to every single one of his games. I did not go to this game for whatever reason. One of his teammates had a full heart attack on the field.
Damn.
That whole thing happened, and I'm very happy I wasn't there. I'd assume that would be, a traumatizing thing, especially there instead. I mean, very, very fortunate that he was in the presence of whoever the fuck saved his life there.
Yeah.
Whoever that was, incredible job. But man, what a perspective. That could happen to Christian Eriksen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's happy he's all right, man. That's a wild, wild weekend. Then after that, hearing he's okay, good news. Let's go ahead. Hopefully he'll be able to regain everything, because with that amount of time, with an absence of airflow, I wonder what potentially happens,
right.
That's kind of, but they were pressing, I guess, for the whole, man, I don't know enough about medical. All I do know is I said, holy shit, is this happening? I thought it was almost like I don't want to say outer body. It just didn't feel real.
Yeah,
it didn't feel real while it was happening. It just didn't. I just learned of this tournament. I just found out it's a massive deal. Then bang, I'm watching. It's like, oh my God, here we go.